Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, and good night. David Stanish along for the ride with you one more time. Coming to you live from just north of Calgary, Alberta, Canada. It is the Larry Bishop Memorial Cup ALA RMLL Junior B Tier 1 Championship Tournament weekend right here from Airdrie's Service Place Arena in the Genesis Center, featuring the hosts and Central Division champions, the Rockyview Silvertips, and the Manitoba Blizzard, the Eastern Division champions. Blizzard in blue, Silvertips in white. Both teams playing their third tournament matchup of the weekend. Both teams will play later tonight, and both teams hope to play on Monday. We've talked about calculator day and crazy math at other tournaments and other events, but this could be the craziest it's ever been. And we'll describe all the permutations and combinations as we go through the next 60 minutes. And importantly, all the four games that we have for you today right here on CROW LAX TV. So glad you're with us live or on demand. Manitoba Blizzard 1-1. After action yesterday, the Silvertips 0-2. Struggling with some penalty issues. Although there's a solid save from Caden McDonough. First time seeing him in the white jerseys. Those look very nice. Mason Schrader, 3 goals and 8 assists during the playoffs of 2024. Trying to open the scoring for the team. The only team without a win so far. They are 0-2. As if you've been with us earlier, their long-standing battle against the Innisfail Mountain View Mavericks resulted in multiple penalties, multiple majors, and a lot of activity from the live audience right beside us here at the Genesis Center. Trying to make the first move, Ty Woods, inside feed, trying to find Corbin Wiley for his what would have been his 5th goal of the tournament. No luck there. Xander Delarond. Xander and his family member Seth have been tearing up the score sheet and their opponents so far in this event. The Blizzard had the break on Friday for travel. Defeat of the Shamrocks 10-6. First thing yesterday, then lost 12-8 to the Fort Saskatchewan Rebels yesterday afternoon. Top 2 make the championship game tomorrow here on Holiday Monday. Spinning around. Mid-range, Evan Fielding. He had some big moments yesterday against the Shamrocks. The only team to have defeated the Shamrocks from Calgary were 19-1 until the Shamrocks then lost later in the night against this Innisfail Mountain View team, the Mavericks. Point blank shot. Chase Penner trying to get on the board for the hosts. But Andrew Isabey, Isabey, says no. Crowd still filing in here early on a Sunday morning on a long weekend. Outside in, nice shot. Went off the side netting. Actually, it didn't go off the side netting, which means they're going to have to try to do something to get something on net to reset the shot clock. That did not occur. Well defended by the Silvertips, forcing poor angle shots that did not hit the net or the Silvertip goaltender. The Airdrie team lost 9-5 on Friday to the Shamrocks in the tournament opener, and then lost 9-8 in that crazy matchup in the noon game yesterday afternoon. Multiple major penalties, power plays, and shorthanded goals, and a whole bunch of craziness. Make sure to check out the archive of that one. All these games available for you live and on demand. Pad save from McDonough. Mavericks 3-0. They have the most wins and the most rest today. They're the only team that'll only play once. However, while they've won all 3 of their games by only a single goal. Inside, perfect shot. Excellent feed inside, Seth Delarond. Carter Ouellette sent that delivery. Trying to find a lane, trying to find an outlet. Schrader can't find either. Forced to the outside. 4 minutes into period number 1. No whistles, no goals, and no whistles yet. And that's just fine. Jared Norris, he's got 12 during these playoffs, leading his team. Right inside, trying to go top shelf. Rebound doesn't work exactly perfectly for Corbin Wiley. And the slow roller McDonough grabs. The outlet pass doesn't quite connect, just south of the halfway line. And we do have a whistle. The clock stops. And the Manitoba Blizzard awarded the ball. Brendan McDonald moves it up the floor. Goes to the bench for the offensive specialist to take over. Captain wants to reset, forced behind the play. Not a half-court violation, but Airdrie will take the turnover instead. Excellent work from the defensive specialist, Kanal Walker. Cole Twite. Cole and Chase, 14 and 17. Keep an eye out for them. Also, number 7, Jared Norris. Did a few games of the Silvertips earlier this year, and Jared was very noticeable. Some very pretty goals. Caden McDonough comes into the game with a 6.4 GAA and an .857 save percentage in the playoffs. Save percentage doesn't change as that one goes wide on the hip side. Isabay, 7 flat goals against average and 828 save percentage. If you're above 800 and below 10, you're doing all the right things. I speculated yesterday that teams may rotate both of their goalies, but so far, all the teams have stuck with their main man and not used any substitutes. And nobody has been eliminated from the top 2, and nobody has clinched the top 2 spot. But only the top 2 of the 5 will advance to Monday. Snapshot and a goal. Working his way through, finding a lane, was Chase Penner. And he'll go high-low. And the bounce off the floor past Andrew Isabay. If you're with us live, and we hope you are, check on the RockyMountainLAX.com website. And as the goals get updated, they'll be updated on the website. Good thing this isn't basketball. That announcer will have lost his vocal cords halfway through the season. Penner from Schrader and Norris gets us started. Trying to continue the process was Montgomery. No luck for him. He's got 4 so far in the postseason. Everybody played 20 games this year. Silvertips were 14-5-1. Manitoba was 13-6-1. And these teams are not unfamiliar with each other. We'll tell you about that as we go along. Trying to go mid-range. No luck there. Opposite side. Good feed into Corbin Wiley. Passing's been very solid, but the lanes towards the net have been incomplete. And there's another example. Crossing it through off a deflection. No reset. No reset, no problem. Xander Dillaron ties up the match. These teams saw each other 3 times, all in Winnipeg. On May 25th, the Silvertips, the early game, Silvertips got the win 7-5. Later in the evening, a few hours later, they played again, and the Blizzard won that one 11-10. Then the following morning, May 26th, the Silvertips won 12-8. So these teams are familiar with each other. And the Blizzard have traveled a lot of miles to be here. Well, Angus loses his glove, but then immediately tries to set a pick, and it was a violation for an illegal screen. And the Silvertips are awarded possession. 8 down, 12 to go in period 1. Day 3, game 1. By the end of the night, we'll know who our 2 finalists are, who we'll see it here at 1 o'clock tomorrow. And we're going to have our first penalty of the day. The goalie got run over. The net traveled about 10 feet behind. Hit that rewind button. The referees are going to have a bit to discuss here. What we can do is tell you about the number of power play goals and shorthanded goals that have been scored by each team throughout the tournament. Much easier than the percentages because they can be relatively hard to calculate, so it should be easier just to give you the number of goals teams have scored on 5-on-4s and 4-on-5s, and they have also surrendered. My calculator works well, but even it may be a little bit too complicated for the calculator to be able to handle. Xavier Dillerond, assisted by Hudson Dillerond, who gets into the game. He is an AP call-up. 4 Dilleronds on the roster, and Richard is the manager of the team. A lot of discussion. Isabay seems no worse for wear as he sort of stretches out the legs and gets back to his normal stance. Let's tell you about the rest of the day. The Rebels and the Shamrocks. Calgary Rebels and the Fort Saskatchewan Rebels and the Calgary Shamrocks will play in our next game, our noon game. Carter Ouellette, 5-minute major for a hit from behind and a game misconduct. So his hit into the Silvertip player is what disrupted the goalie. So now Ouellette will be watching the rest of the game, and his teammate will be serving in the box. This could be an early turning point in this contest. So let's tell you about it. The Silvertips have scored 3 power play goals in this tournament. They have surrendered 2 shorthanded goals. The Blizzard having some difficulty on the penalty kill. They have surrendered 7 power play goals, but they have scored 3 shorthanded goals. The Silvertips have yet to surrender a shorthanded goal, which is good news for them. I'd normally say barring any penalties, it'll be a 5-minute power play, but we've seen all 4 of the spots on the scoreboard be occupied by 4 different countdown timers. These referees very generous with the calls. What can they do? Mid-range shot, rebound. Excellent work from Mason Schrader to catch the ball off the boards and get it a quick stick one-timer, but Isabay was up to the task. Ouellette, 5-minute major for a hit from behind and a game misconduct, so he'll be watching the game upstairs with the rest of us. Manitoba simply wants to either dump the ball or hold on to possession, and you never know. Xander De Laurent actually did both. He killed the entire 30-second shot clock and got a decent look on McDonough. Caden has had the odd issue where balls have deflected off of his back of his legs and into the nets, or he was unable to find slow rollers that ended up crossing the goal line. Back and forth, quick shot off the netminder, and out of play. So a fresh 30 for Airdrie. They could really make a significant impact here in these next 3 minutes and 45 seconds, not only on the game, but what could turn out for the entire tournament. Jared Norris with the shot. Isabay holds on, allowing his teammates the next full possession. If there are multiple teams tied for either first or second, head-to-head and then goals for and against will make all the difference. As I said, Airdrie would have to win both and then need a lot of help, but the math would still work in their favor. Another full 30 seconds killed. This time it was Will Angus. Another family connection, Will and Andy Angus, 6 and 8 blue. And a referee timeout, sort of a refreshment timeout. So let's tell you about what happened Friday and yesterday. Shamrocks over the Silvertips, 9-5, as we mentioned. Mavericks 9-7 over the Rebels. Blizzard, the 10-6 win over the 19-1 Calgary Shamrocks. So nothing is guaranteed in this building over the next 24 hours, just like the last 24 hours. Mavericks improved to 2-0 with a 9-8 win over the Silvertips. As I mentioned, a very crazy game with some very loud fans. Then 12-8, the Rebels defeat the Blizzard again. Manitoba is certainly the team used to these kinds of quick numbers of games in a short period of time, just based on their schedules. As I said, we mentioned when the Silvertips came out to Winnipeg, it was 3 games in about a day and a half. So Rebels over the Blizz, 12-8. Then in our nightcap last night, Mavericks improved to 3-0, defeating the Shamrocks 8-7, leading the vast majority of that matchup, but escaping with only a 1-goal victory. A critical save with about half a dozen seconds left prevented that game from going to overtime. Halfway through the first period, and a nice solid save for Isabay, one of the shorter netminders this week, hugging that left post. Generous rebound, offensive rebounds we've talked about all week long, and 3 solid attempts for the Silvertips. 2:45 left on the major. Airdrie in no particular pressure on McDonald to try to take the ball away until about right there, and then that's where McDonald is forced smartly by Airdrie to step into the crease and give up possession. 9:15 on the big board, 2:20 on the power play. Silvertips tied 1 goal apiece with this Winnipeg Blizzard club. Again, excellent deflection off the boards. Sort of a diamond shape here for the Blizz, and that shot touched no one and then bounced into the netting above the boards. And Manitoba has another fresh 30 they can kill. 2 minutes left on the major. Blizz have scored 3 shorthanded goals so far in this tournament. Man up front. Seth De Laurent hanging around, trying to set a screen. Wyatt Hoffer came close. Little tap from the back of the stick, and again, a perfect shorthanded kill of the shot clock. Well done for the Blizzard. Only 1:30 remaining on the major penalty. Silvertips have come close, but Isabay, not a lot of room to find space to get a ball past. Fresh 30 and a big save again. Blizzard containing the Silvertips forwards in such a way that Isabay saw every single shot over the last 4 minutes. He also stopped them all too. Silvertips not trying to get any screen in front. How about that chance? It's a shorthanded goal for Zach Tinley. Give him 2 on the week. Perhaps Airdrie a little bit too lackadaisical with their power play non-possession style. And now they trail. Dustin Morden, the assist on a sunny Sunday morning. And another big face-off win for the Blizz. They're going to the national championships as sort of the Central Prairie representatives. But they'd also like to win this RMLL title. If they are one of the finalists for tomorrow afternoon's game, the other team will also go to the Nationals. The Founders Cup in Hamilton at the end of August. And 30 more successful seconds. Only a dozen left on the major. Silvertips surrender their first shorthanded goal of the week. Trying to go high-low, and a great block in front by Wyatt Hoffer. Hudson De Laurent got to watch the last 5 minutes from the penalty box. We'll see what kind of difference Ouellette not being on the roster makes. And a big collision outside the white lines. Jared Norris having some difficulty. Silvertips ball with 6:33 remaining in period number 1. And the Silvertips unable to take advantage of that major penalty and now actually trail the matchup. Mid-range. And Andrew Isabay definitely has some fans in the stands. The healthy scratches for the Blizzard encouraging him from the stands a few feet away from us. And a cross-checking penalty against Stone Dunbar. So now we can tell you that the Blizzard have 6 power play goals so far this week. And the Blizzard have scored, the Silvertips have scored 2 shorthanded goals. Manitoba got 4 against Calgary yesterday, about 24 hours ago. Can they extend the lead? Nice pressure. Brunton in front, slow bouncer, Manitoba gets it back. Brunton doing his job, but now it's to his opposite side. Again, no infiltration in between the 4 defenders. They're getting closer and closer to the net. The passes have to be faster and more precise. Inside move, blocked in front. Second chance, blocked again. 2 great blocks by the defenders on the far side of the floor for the Silvertips. The ice is going to be in here soon enough. I don't need to start mentioning it in August. Making sure he doesn't go into the crease. Extremely careful. To the far. Shot from up high. Blocked. Xander De Laurent with that chance. Great outlet, but two Manitoba players, and the third actually is the one that grabs the ball. Liz with all the momentum right now. Tinley, he got the short-handed goal. He'll drop it off. 42 seconds on the Manitoba man advantage. 3 20-minute periods. He'll take about a 10-minute break. Working his way through. Oh, what a fake! Fantastic goal. Xander Dillerond, second of the day. Faked the goalie out, faked me out. I think he faked out most of the people in the building. I thought to myself, he's at a perfect angle. Why would he kick it out? But he didn't. He faked it and then snuck it in the top corner. Nice job for Xander. And Manitoba in control. Tinley with the shorthanded goal. And Xander Delaron, even strength and power play. As I said, a Silvertip loss. They are done. They'll play tonight in the finale against the Rebels, but they would have no chance to get into the top two. Again, there's still 44 minutes left, and a 2-goal lead is not that meaningful in lacrosse. There's a solid save for Caden McDonough. But Manitoba quieting this crowd. To the near side, right below us. Canal Walker. Nice job for him to outlet it to Nate Shabak. 4+9 in the playoffs for Nate. Getting hacked and whacked. They're still on the power play. We continue. Oof. Seth Dalerond almost matches family member there. McDonough wasn't quite sure he made the save. Almost a souvenir here for us. We hope you'll chat along with us. If you're with us on the live stream, say hi. We've had people from all over North America watching, so if you're outside of the greater Airdrie or Winnipeg area, we'd love to hear from you. And if you come to the building to watch a game live, come and say hi. We'd love to chat with you. There's a contact from behind. And there's a shoulder to shoulder. Ref says play on. We're back to even strength. 2:44 to go. Struggling to find the loose ball was Tinley. Good pressure from Cam Fuster. Remember mentioning him several times during the regular season in terms of how successful he was in transition and defensive roles and talents. Trying to set up some sort of pick and roll here. Forced up high. Jared Norris having no lane to the net. Forced a drop pass. A double back for Montgomery. And again, spectacular defense here from Manitoba. They have surrendered in lacrosse terms very few goals. Silvertips have only scored 13 over the 2 games. That's a cross check. Unfortunately, the tempers flared not only during the penalty, but also a moment ago. We'll see how that develops over the next 2 periods. Cross-checking the call. Silvertips, barring any penalties, will be on the man advantage for the remainder of the first period. Airdrie in white, Winnipeg in blue. Back pass, snapshot. Mid-range. Mason Schrader comes close. Leading goal scorer for them and during the regular season. Forced to the extreme outside, Brendan McDonald. Again, shorthanded possession has been fantastic for Manitoba so far. 8 seconds on the shot clock. He's just going to outrun them and outgun them. No chance to try to do any sort of disruption. A lot of times you'll see the team on the power play with the man advantage double team the ball carrier. But I think these Manitoba players are a little bit too fast. Jarrett Wood of the Blizzard and Tyler Waycott of the Silvertips will certainly make some adjustments in the first intermission. Snapshot. Slow, careful, methodical save. Isabay didn't want that one to roll an inch away from him. Nice job to collapse and hold. These balls like to bounce. Again, to the extreme outside. Tyrell Gray went behind the net and made sure he didn't step into the crease area. Another kick out. 22 seconds remain in the first period. Inside. Is it there? No. Again, Isabay doing everything he can and the referee right beside him. Less than a second. And Manitoba playing it from beginning to end. You just never know. And they got rewarded 3 times. They lead 3-1 after 1. Blizzard, a power play goal, a shorthanded goal, and an even strength goal. And they seem to have all the momentum. Stick around for more second period action after this intermission. All right, welcome back. Xander Delarond has 2. Zach Tinley has 1. Chase Penner has 1. Blizzard have 3. Silvertips trail by 2. Got a bit of a clarification with so much going on. When Delarond got that power play goal with 5 minutes left, the Silvertips were given another penalty, which then resulted in the next power play. I had to admit I was a bit confused. We have a few fans standing right in front of the penalty box to my perspective. And then another power play against the guests, against the visitors, that they are 4 seconds away from clearing up. So penalty trouble has been an issue for all 5 of these teams. And all 5 of these teams will see action not only right now, but later on today. Only the Mavericks will play once here on Sunday. And they'll be doing a lot of scoreboard watching. Cutting it in. Looking to go top shelf was Nate Shabak. Trying to make an immediate impact early here in period number 2. Central champions versus Eastern champions. Taking the licking, but keeping on ticking was Zach Tinley, doing everything they ask him to do. Nice fake out. Ty Woods' pass just couldn't be collected. But Manitoba working hard in that far left corner. It is a double hit. CIR Realty got their money's worth. And Christian DeGroot seems no worse for wear. Ref says play on. 20 seconds gone in this shot clock, and a big collision in front. Dustin Morden said, try to go, you can't go around me, so you might as well go through me. Getting hacked and whacked is Tyrell Gray. If you're just joining us, wondering where Carter Roulette is, he got a 5-minute major and a game misconduct for a hit from behind. Snap shots off the arm. That creates a reset. And a fresh 30 from possession. A lot of basketball rules. Over and back. Having to cross the halfway line within 8 seconds. There's a snap shot right to the feet of Mr. McDonough. 30-second shot clock. So setting screens, picks and rolls, posting up. The only thing they don't have is free throws. Inside, great shot. Chase Penner received it on his left side, but blasted it to his right side. Got past Isabe and cuts the deficit. It's the goal the Silvertips have been looking for and receive. Shabak, and another. As the announcement for goal 2 was being given to the crowd, they score goal 3. I've done a lot of PA announcing in my life, but I don't think I have half the enthusiasm of this gentleman. It all started from the face-off violation. Inside, what a goal! Will Angus falling to the floor, somehow got it into the top right corner of the net. McDonough, I think, as stunned as all the rest of us. It's like, he can't beat me by my left shoulder. Oh, wait, he did. Unbelievable. The talent of these kids. And Manitoba quickly cuts off any Silvertips momentum. If you like chaos in your standings table, you want the Silvertips to win, because that makes the evening session a lot more interesting. But the Blizz would love to make something happen here. And then play the Mavericks later this afternoon at 5 p.m. And there's your 2-goal lead right back where they started. Seth Delaron, as quickly as they gave up 2, they scored 2. Goals at 225, 241, 250, and 313. And it's back to a 2-goal advantage. Blizzard and Mavericks will play at 5. If Manitoba can sweep the day, they would almost certainly, well, they would definitely be in, even if there was some sort of crazy tiebreaker. Well, the Silvertips have to mentally reset here. And we've had 4 quick goals. Going nowhere fast is Jared Norris. Nice little drop off, drawing both defenders. Unfortunately, it bounced away from Schrader. The captain trying to make something happen on the other side. And there's a hit from behind that disrupts the net. Schrader with some extra speed. Chase Thundell looking for the same call that his teammate was called against earlier on in this matchup. I don't know if he'll win the argument. Schrader definitely over-aggressive after fumbling that ball. Is it a 5 for a 5? Yes, it is. It is a cross-check 5-minute penalty for a burst, defensive burst towards that left crease. So this could really change things. Penner, Shabak, Angus shorthanded, Angus unassisted, and Seth Delaron. The Silvertips were unable to score on their major and actually gave up a shorthanded goal. Blizzard would like to do the opposite of that. Again, the quick passes. Seth Delaron scores. The stick was flat on the surface, but Seth Delaron found a space between the stick and the pad, and it is a 3-goal differential. Rebels and Shamrocks coming up. This could prove to be very interesting. How big were those 2 back-to-back goals from Manitoba prior to this most recent one? They had given up 2 in a row and lost their lead, but then immediately got those 2 back. Trying to put it on. No game misconduct for McDonough. And unlike in hockey, you can only score twice on a major penalty. Manitoba will look to do that in about 24 seconds. And there's the man advantage against the ball carrier. Manitoba definitely with a different style while on the power play without possession. Not better or worse, just different. But they do have the ball. Inside, time and space. Just over the crossbar. Behind McDonough. Right below us. Action, the penalty timekeepers having a perfect view of that one. Crossing it through. Mid-range, top of the pads. And a call against Manitoba, it appears. Colby Berg was knocked down and got right back up again. 2-minute cross check. That'll go against Evan Fielding. Two minutes against the guests. Fourth official with the referee uniform inside the penalty box to help the timekeepers, just in case. Not a bad idea, to be honest. Still waiting for it to go onto the board. As I said, Silvertips the only team without a loss, or without a win so far. Mavericks the only team without a loss. Hey, the home team had 3:07 remaining on their penalty. And this will be a 2 minutes against the visitors. And now we're ready. Seth Dilleron, 2 in a row for Manitoba in this period. Time and space, underhand. Isabay, I think over the last 2.5 games, has sort of shown a tendency for his goaltending style. Again, not a lot of space to get past him, but he definitely has something people can exploit. Coaches will figure that out. Pick and roll, and it just rolls off the goal line. Caden McDonough, sometimes you got to be lucky to be good. Spun around to see if the ball was in his net or not. One of the small weaknesses in McDonough's game. Inside, but again, an excellent pick and roll for the Blizzard. Inside. And it is a clean save. And a 4-on-4 possession for the Blizz. Inside, the scoop pass does not connect. Silvertips happy to zone this defense and force the Blizzard on only another dozen seconds on the shot clock. To the other side, cutting it through. That one knocked out of the stick. Chase Twite doing his job. Levin out there as well. And a save for McDonough. Cole Twite's been well contained in this matchup. Got a couple of nice points in game 1 against the Shamrocks. Cut through, perfect screen. Just missing wide was Cullen, but used his teammate perfectly. Time and space off the right arm. And now is a resumption of that major penalty power play. One minute left to go in it. They can get one more in this sequence and go 2 for 2 on this advantage. Little back and forth, forced behind. Manitoba crossing it through. Scoop. No good. A nice solid save from McDonough. These guys can certainly vary up their game in terms of shot selection. It's not always going to be from the shoulder down. A quick transition to a waist height release. Still time to go. Shorthanded goal, yes! It tripped up Isabe. And the Silvertips cut the deficit, each team with a shorthanded goal. I don't think the Silvertips fans were entirely clear that it had gone in. Then they realized they had something to celebrate. Still 13 seconds. Important face-off win for Airdrie. Brunton. Airdrie had their struggles in the second half of the year after dominating in the first half. Bouncing off his man is Wyatt Hoffer. Hoffer's going to get a good look off the sternum of McDonough, and the outlet is intercepted. Kai Garriott. Yeah, we're not even halfway through the second period with all the goals and all the penalties. Certainly a slower pace to period two. Another outlet. And Christian DeGroot's having difficulty collecting passes today. Again, Silvertips will play at 8 p.m. in the finale against Fort Saskatchewan, the North champions. Manitoba will play again today at 5 o'clock against the Central representatives from Innisfail. They'll scoop through and score. Will Angus improvising based on the defensive structure and zooms it past Caden McDonough. And the Blizzard lead by 3. Have a relatively easy time with the Calgary Shamrocks, who again were 19-1. The only one in the Shamrocks regular season was against Manitoba. And they're having a relatively straightforward opportunity here against the Central champions. Zooming it through. McDonough, a solid save. And a whistle from the far side. And with a goaltender possession, referee calls for a halftime break. Let's just take a break, says the referee. Let's get some refreshments. Make sure everybody's cool. Make sure to tell you about our 50-50 draw. Make sure to get your 50-50 CROW LAX TV tickets right now. The draw will take place on Tuesday following Larry Bishop tournament. It's a maximum take-home of $10,000. Be sure to scan the QR code on the screen now in that bottom right-hand corner, and or visit our social media channels for more information. CROW LAX TV, at CROW LAX TV, CROWLAX TV, Instagram, X, and TikTok. Guys have been doing a lot of great interviews on our social media channels, just game recaps, as well as just some general features about all the teams, which have been a lot of fun to watch as well. City of Fort Saskatchewan, explore Fort Saskatchewan. Discover a place where family fun meets opportunity. Visit their historic downtown, scenic parks, and River Valley. Work in a thriving community. Play where every moment is memorable. Visit work and play in Fort Saskatchewan. And next summer, check out a Rebels game. At Vimy Lacrosse, excellence is the standard. Vimy Ridge Lacrosse Academy, led by some of the province's most decorated and experienced instructors. They are dedicated to molding well-rounded student athletes. Vimy Lacrosse is the fusion of sport, academics, and personal growth. Unleash your potential with Vimy Lacrosse. Explore their academy, Vimy Edmonton, VIMY Edmonton.ca/lacrosse. We get back underway. This is not the last tournament on the prairies this August. The McDonald Cup is coming up next weekend in Brooks. End-to-end, coast to coast. No luck for Tate Peterson. And an illegal substitution penalty against Manitoba. Head out and watch as the Prince Albert Predators, Lakeland Heat, Swift Current Wolverines, Calgary Wranglers, and Southern Alberta Chaos battle to determine who will be crowned this year's McDonald Cup champion. Catch all the action starting August 7th in Brooks. And watch it live on YouTube for free. That is the McDonald Cup Junior B Division II Open Western Canadian Championship. Penalty against Airdrie, for illegal substitution. Manitoba, chance to pour it on here. 9 minutes to go in an eventful second period. It's rolling. Manitoba looking for it. And the Blizz collect. Ty Woods resets. Minute 30 on the power play. To the far side. They've got Angus on the near side. But Angus just watches as Xavier Delaronde, mid-range, puts it past Caden McDonough. Another power play goal. Give the Blizzard 9 for the week. And they lead this game 8-4. Ty Woods gets one of the assists. Angus with 2 unassisted goals. And Xavier with a power play mark. It was 3-1 after 1. It's 8-4 halfway through period 2. So yeah, check out the McDonald Cup next weekend in Brooks. Junior boys, Junior B, Tier 2, Invitational Western Canadian event. Tier 2 provincials going on right now as well. Look at the individual effort from Zach Tinley. He'd be my Player of the Game Award winner, and stick around for the Player of the Game Award presentation at the end of this match and all of them throughout the rest of the weekend. Inside. Good look. Hudson Delaron made himself open. Referee says continue. Will Angus does everything right. And I talked about it before, same as basketball. You have 8 seconds to cross the halfway line. And Manitoba forcing another bad mistake by the Silvertips. And number 8 starts the process, Will Angus. 7:15 in the period. Manitoba with all the momentum. And a relatively quiet Silvertips live audience. To the other end of the floor. Snapshot and a goal. Corbin Wiley, Isaac Nickel. Saw him score a few impressive goals over at the Plainsman Arena during the regular season. Remember, the winner of this tournament, along with the Blizzard, go to the National Championships, the Founders Cup in Hamilton. And there are playdowns occurring all across the country. Go to lacrosse.ca for all the details about links to where you can get the information about the playoffs going on in BC and Ontario. Of course, the Man Cup and the Minto Cup, Junior A and Senior A, coming up towards the second half of the month, and over the Labor Day long weekend as well. And then the ice goes back in, and then something else takes over this arena. I'm not sure what. Shot clock violation against the Silvertips. 8-5 is your score. 6:17 remaining in period number 2. But yeah, August is definitely the month of lacrosse at all levels and all provinces. Nowhere to go. Ty Woods hoped to get lucky and an offensive rebound, even though the ball didn't hit the goalie. Xander Delaron with some time to work with. Makes a space. Oh, nice little scoop pass, looking for a quick stick. The lacrosse equivalent of a one-timer. And Andy Angus just couldn't keep himself from jumping in the crease, so the angle just didn't quite work. The angle for Andy Angus. Yes, I'm sorry. To the far side. Silvertips trying to cut this deficit 1 goal at a time. Look at all the pressure. And Manitoba awarded possession. 5:09 in period 2. We'll have another game at noon. Silvertips and the Mavericks. Excuse me, the Rebels and the Shamrocks. It is Sunday now. Rebels and Shamrocks coming up. Then we'll take a break. Then at 5 o'clock, we'll have the Mavericks and the Blizzard. And the Silvertips and the Rebels. Blizzard continuing to pour it on. It's a snowball effect. Hudson Delaron was knocked down here on the near left side, but gets up to celebrate. And Blizzard Mavericks game should be interesting because Innisfail will not have played for several hours. And prior to that game against Manitoba, will have defeated everybody else. The noon game very important as well. Rebels and Shamrocks. Port Saskatchewan can put themselves in that conversation for a top 2 spot if they can finish off Calgary. Shamrocks would need to win that game and get a lot of help. A lot of help. We could have a 3-way tie for second. That's why that Blizzard Mavericks game is so important coming up at 5. And then at 8, the Silvertips and the Rebels will finish it off. The Rebels may have an opportunity to get in that conversation for second or maybe even first place, but they have to get 2 wins today. Great work. Bounce off a defender, and Mason Schrader went right to the net. Got a good look. But a penalty against Airdrie. Even they're surprised as a lot of the players go back to the bench. Perhaps a retaliation by Schrader. He already has 1 penalty today. That, let's just say, was preventable contact. A tripping call. Now hit that rewind button, folks. He's confused. Not very often in either of the sports that take place in this building that you take a tripping call 190 feet away from your own net. But the teams are the best of the best, and they bring in the officials that are the best of the best as well. Angus and Nickel, the most recent goals for both of these teams. Manitoba lead by 4. To the outside, off an arm. Slow rolling ball. Recovered by the Silvertips. And Chase Twite will drop it off. Crossing it through. Zooming to the net. Off the bench was Stone Dunbar Corenda. The feed just not ideal. And there's another retaliation. Corenda will go off. Again, penalties in front of the opposition net. And again, you could argue preventable contact. And he's also got a 10, a rough and a 10, along with a hold. So the referee saw both. They saw the hold on the Manitoba player, then the revenge from Corenda, and then a 10 for Corenda for arguing. Cullen will serve the 2 minutes. And it'll be a 4-on-3, because unlike hockey coincidentals, both players take away a man from the floor. So this becomes a 4-on-3. Dunbar Corenda will be watching for the next 12 minutes. And we'll go to the dressing room early.
Blizzard's penalty, number 29, 2 minutes for holding. Silvertips penalty, number 28, 2 minutes for roughing and a 10-minute misconduct.
McDonald for holding, Dunbar Corenda for roughing. Okay, they've decided to go 5-on-4 here. Sometimes it's a 5-on-4 scenario with coincidentals. Sometimes it's a 4-on-3. And again, this has been the deadliest team on the man advantage this week. Not a bad opportunity for Stone Corenda when he zoomed out of the bench and cut to the net. He was held, but then took the revenge call, which led to his roughing penalty. 2 minutes in the period, 40 seconds on the man advantage. 5-on-4. Trying to find somebody to cut to the net, or at least get the goalie looking in the opposite direction. And that's a shot clock violation against Manitoba with possession. And again, the team with the Blizzard, look what he can do. Will Angus, just like the last time, he was the man advantage without possession and disrupted the possessor and got a good look at the net. That one over the boards into the netting. So a whistle. We're back to 5-on-5 with 1:16 in the second period. (9-5) your score. Dunbar Corenda will watch the rest of the period and most of the second period, or most of the next period in the box. It's an over and back against Manitoba. just like in basketball, but those balls don't bounce quite as much. To the Silvertips' advantage. They got to start deep in the offensive zone. Inside. Trying to find Penner on a bounce. He wasn't expecting it. 12 on the shot clock. Jared Norris trying to find some space. Misses it left. Sometimes it's just trying to set up a rebound. And a timeout for Manitoba, as they'll have the last shot clock of the period and try to run it down and add goal number 10 at the end of the session. Manitoba 13-6-1 during the regular season. Silvertips 14-5-1 during the regular season. If goals for and against come into play, the Blizzard would be +4 right now if the game ended right now. Rebels 1-1 with a +2, and the Mavericks 3-0 with a +4. Of course, it would be reading the rule sheet. The for and against appears to be based on their games against everybody, but we'll get that clarified. Vimy Ridge Lacrosse Academy, VimmyEdmonton.ca, VIMY Edmonton.ca. Unleash your potential with Vimy Lacrosse. Explore Fort Saskatchewan. Visit and work and play where every moment is memorable. CROW LAX TV on Instagram, X, and TikTok for all of our updates. Make sure to follow us, and we'll have a big pregame show before the final at 1 o'clock tomorrow. Looking forward to being a part of that. 12 seconds. Shot clock turned off. Lots of action, lots of physicality and more. Inside, top shoulder doesn't connect. Players bouncing off the boards and continuing to discuss things. Lots of man-to-man play. If the referees add any offenses, we'll let you know about it when we come back after this second intermission coming at you right now. Don't forget, fans, to stick around for the August Electronics Player of the Game Awards at the end of this matchup. The Rockyview Silvertips were 11-1 after 12 games, and their only loss up to that point was to this Blizzard team, just like the Shamrocks. They were 3-4-1 in the remainder of the regular season. Won their 2 games against Innisfail, against the Mavericks in that Central Division playoff, and are 0-2 right now and trail by 4, and have to kill off a penalty during that skirmish at the end of period 2. Chase Twite, number 17, took a minor penalty for holding. So it is a home penalty and a guest power play on the big board to our far left. So one obstacle at a time for these Silvertips to overcome. But yes, as I said, they were 11-1 at the beginning of the year and have really struggled. If you total it up, they're 5-6-1 in their last 12. 11-1 in their first 12, 5-6-1 in their last 12 are these Silvertips. We'll see how it goes. And the Blizzard giving them no time to reset and respond. Seth Dillerand, the 10th power play goal of the tournament for the Manitoba Blizzard. Wow. And Manitoba takes the next possession off the face-off violation. And they've doubled it up. It's 10-5. So right now they are +5 in the standings. They are going to the Nationals. Oh, great fake out. Drawing both defenders was Evan Fielding. Unfortunately, a missed pass. Corbin Wiley's got a goal, looking for another. And Caden McDonough hasn't looked uncomfortable, but hasn't had his best day. Blizzard comfortably ahead by 5 goals. And win, lose, or draw, they will play again at 5 o'clock. Their only loss coming to the Rebels so far, and they'll play the Mavericks in what could end up being a game for first place and would definitely get them into the championship match. But again, the math has to work itself out. Nobody's out and nobody's into the final quite yet. But these next 18 minutes may tell us more about that as we go along. Time and space off the V in Mavericks, or excuse me, the V in Silvertips. It's been a long weekend. And the Silvertips going to go right to left. Holding up, Beckham Mondragon. The better choice was to let his 5 offensive specialists come onto the court. But I know Beckham would love to get his first goal of the weekend at some point. That one off the post, and the roller collected by Andrew Isabe. Cross-checking penalty coming up. Last year on this August long weekend, the Blizzard lost the championship game to the Edmonton Warriors 16-8. And both teams went to the Founders Cup National Championship. Blizzard would like some revenge. Silvertips were not there last year. Shamrocks were. Rebels overcoming the Warriors in their playoff to get here in the North Division. And the Beaumont Outlaws were the host team. So 2 carryovers from last year. This is a 17 to 21-year-old Junior B division. Some players from all 5 of these teams will not be here next year simply because they'll graduate. A pull down from behind that the far referee caught. Brendan McConnell is going to the penalty box and only now realizes it as he was going to cover his defensive responsibilities. And the guests are going to be down 2 men here. A cross check followed up by a hold. So as I said, a lot of players will overage graduate, and a lot of players will move up to Junior A next year. And those provincial championship finals are going on right now. We encourage you to check out the McDonald Cup next weekend in Brooks. Snapshot, top right corner, taken away smartly by Isabay. Time and space, blocked off the leg. Wyatt Hoffer is going to feel that for a while. Oh, and by the way, you got to play again in 6 hours, Wyatt. A cross shot, and it is in. Pulling a Shamrock are these Silvertips. Cole Twite held off the scoreboard in the goal column until now. I call it a Shamrock because so many of those goals this year from that team, especially on the power play, come from a goal line snapshot to the opposite shoulder of the goaltender, who more times than not cannot make the adjustment fast enough. And that was a 5-on-3 power play goal. So the Silvertips still have another man advantage, and they've cut the lead down to 10-6. The Junior A Provincials are a best-of-7 series. They're taking place all over the province, actually. The Miners and the Raiders. Okotoks Raiders and the Edmonton Miners. And so far it's been a road series. Raiders taking the opening 2 last weekend, and the Miners getting the win on Friday. So the Stu Preppert Arena will have that game on game 4 of that best-of-7 on Wednesday night. And who knows? Jared Norris with an important power play marker. And suddenly, it's 10-7. The last time the Silvertips got 2 in a row, Manitoba responded with 2 in a row of their own in quick succession. The Silvertips fans seem to be relatively quiet, but the team is going to go full throttle right to the end. There's still 15:40 to go, and bigger deficits have been made up in less time. The Blizzard have 10 power play goals in this tournament, but now have given up 9. I'll have to rack the numbers up, but they could be best and worst right now on the man advantage. There's a couple of hacks. Player loses his stick. Referee says play on. Stick appears to be in one piece, but it'll just be in the middle of the floor for the moment. Snapshot. Nice bit of improv from Seth Delarond. Off the bounce. A reset of everything but the shot clock for the Blizzard. The big bounce. Nobody can quite collect it. And some contact on the far right side of the field, or ice, or court, depending on your point of view. Like I said yesterday, the ice is going to go in soon enough. They're already putting the ice in behind us on the other side of the Twin Arena here at the Genesis Center. It is August after all. Oh boy, another hit from behind. Airdrie player really struggling here. And they're going to have to blow this down as one Silvertip trips over the other. As I said, the road team has won all 3 in the Junior A series. The Miners trail the Raiders 2-1. Wednesday in Calgary, Friday in Beaumont for Game 5. Should be an interesting Junior A final. Winner of that series will go to the Minso Cup. The winner of this tournament will go to the Founders Cup in Hamilton. We double check the rules. If there is a three-way tie, it will come down to how the teams did against each other. If they all split against each other, then it'll be goals for and against, only against each other, not against the other teams in the tournament. I've been to some sporting events where tiebreakers were literally a case where 2 teams were tied for first place. One team beat the last place team by 10, and the other team beat the last place team by only 7. So based on a bigger margin against the worst team of the event, the one team advanced in the tiebreaker. That is not the case here. Tiebreakers only amongst goals for and against, only amongst the tied teams. Inside, top left, taken away smartly, literally under the arm. Isabay. My niece could use his jersey as a, well, she's only 9, so she could use it as a blanket, I think. Those jerseys are enormous. I was going to say in 10 years she could use it as a prom gown. Who knows, when CROW LAX TV is doing the Larry Bishop in 2034, maybe we'll work out a deal. They are beautiful jerseys, though, the Manitoba Blizzard jerseys. Inside, underneath. Collision in front. Great bit of improv from Andy Angus to have the ball, receive the ball high and then go down low. Another contact. Blizzard are going to go back to the box. It looks like Angus again. And you never know. If the Silvertips have found the formula on the power play, this suddenly could become a 2-goal game. So yeah, Manitoba silver medalists at this event last year up in Beaumont. A roughing call. 13:06 on the big board. Central champs versus East champs. And now the Airdrie fans back into it. Off a leg. Not a reset, but not a half-court violation either. Another big save. Isabay loves that left pad. Blizzard definitely with the coolest jerseys in the tournament. Double team. Silvertips taking a lesson from the visitors' power play strategy here, and a perfect 30-second kill off. Again, Seth Delarond, that's multiple times now where he's maintained possession during a penalty kill and disrupted an entire shot clock. Well done to him. 50 seconds on the man advantage. Silvertips with nothing to lose at this point. They will play in our finale tonight. But their shot at the trophy in the Founders Cup trip on the line here in the next 12 minutes. That and a lot of math. In front, right off the Yeti on the Blizzard logo. I did a Founders Cup 8 or 9 years ago, and they were there that weekend as well. And the design, even the slight design change that they've made since then, makes these Blizzard jerseys just spectacular, and they were great then too. 10 seconds on the disadvantage. Shot clock and penalty clock exactly the same time. How about that? Over the top, backhanded chance. Xander Delarond. Hope there's some scouts in the audience. Teams like the Miners, the Raiders could put him to good use. I'm sure there's some field lacrosse coaches in the U.S. watching some of these games. A lot of these players, Junior B Tier 1s, their entire 5-year career. But very few Junior A players get to that level without playing Junior B first. There's a U17 midget draft. Big goal. Important goal. Ty Woods gets the lead back to 4. And more importantly, breaks off the momentum. But yeah, very, very few players play Junior A without playing Junior B first. So a lot of these kids could be moving up from the Alberta-based teams to Junior A next year. And players play midget when they're 16. Inside, great move. And a great collapsing save in between the two pads for Caden McDonough. And then in February, when the players will move up to Junior A, Junior B Tier 1, or Junior B Tier 2 as a 17-year-old, they'll be drafted by one of the teams based on where they live. Just like the NHL. Inside feed. Nice disruption. Cam Fuster took that away. Doing what he's done all season long, and there's another example in that far right corner. Fuster will drive against 2. Drive against 3, drive against 4. Fuster maintains possession as his offensive specialists get on the floor. And Cam Fuster with a round of applause. And another referee timeout. And then any players who aren't drafted to Junior B or Junior A would go to their respective Tier 2 teams. So when you graduate midget in 16, at age 16, so 2008, and you would be drafted in February for junior in 2025 as a 17-year-old. City of Fort Saskatchewan, explore Fort Saskatchewan, discover that place where family fun meets opportunity 12 months a year. I've had as much fun in Fort Saskatchewan in January as I have in July, so definitely give them a look. And again, next summer, go check out a Rebels game. Vimy Lacrosse Academy. Vimy Lacrosse, the fusion of sport, academics, and personal growth. Unleash your potential with Vimy Lacrosse. Another reminder for our 50-50 raffle. bottom right-hand corner of your screen. It supports the teams and the league. They get 50% and you get 50%. We'll do the draw on Tuesday. We've been doing monthly draws all season long. Make sure to follow us for more information on that, as well as everything else on Instagram, Twitter X, and TikTok. Our next game at noon. Mavericks and Rebels. And the Mavericks bring the fans. They're going to try to go 4-0 later on at 5 o'clock against this Blizzard team. Rebels and Shamrocks are coming up next. Maximum effort from Beckham Mondragon, and again zooms to the bench. Couldn't maintain possession, however, but again couldn't question the effort. Fort Saskatchewan versus Calgary is our noon game. Manitoba and Innisfail is our 5 o'clock game. Rockyview and Fort Saskatchewan is our 8 o'clock game. Our championship game at 1 o'clock, but check us out around noon for the pregame show. But of course, if you subscribe, you'll get all of our notifications for when we go live. And all the games are spoiler-free on demand. If you don't know the score, we will not tell you the score in any of the graphics or information. So you can watch it spoiler-free at your leisure. Live and on demand right here from Airdrie. We're so glad you're with us here on CROW LAX TV. Dave Stanish here with you. Simon's on the camera. That one just barely fails to cross the goal line. Emmett's handling the graphics. Eric's our technical producer and Ethernet cable handler behind the scenes. And our crew from Edmonton, Keenan, and Mohammed will take you through the afternoon and evening session later tonight. Been a pleasure to be with you all season. And we know Anand is watching after doing a great job on commentary all season long for us in the South Division. Big disruption. Hudson Delaron didn't play 24 hours ago, but certainly deserves to play going forward. Goalie gets tripped up, and a big sprint. Wyatt Hoffer has been extremely impressive in that defensive and transition role. 17 on the shot clock, 7-12 on the big board. Manitoba by 4, trying to finish the Silvertips off. Great work inside. Corbin Wiley trying to add to his total. Again, Seth Delaron doing a great job of drawing 2 defenders to his attention, leaving an open man. This time it was Wiley. That one too much for Andy Angus. And the referees rule it is a Silvertips possession. 6:41 in the ball game. Yeah, again, CROW LAX TV has been great people to work with. Of course, Dave is the big boss up in Edmonton, hopefully watching today. Time and space up high, snapshot. A lot of mustard on that one from Tyler Montgomery. A transition from one end to the other. Unable to collect outside of the crease line was Delaron. So McDonough collected inside the crease line. These balls like to bounce. Hacking and whacking, but absorbing was Hudson Delaron. He'll drop it off to Seth. Again, working his way through a screen. Setting the pick was Thundell. Holding the defender so that Delaron could go around both of them and get a release from his stick. Jared Norris can't find possession. And it's a quick stop and start of the clock. Slowly disappearing, only 5:15 remaining in period 3. There are no ties. We will play overtime until we have a decision. There have been a few ties after 5 minutes of overtime in the league this year. Silvertips game earlier this year had to tie it with about 4 seconds to go to force it to overtime, and then won it with about 5 seconds to go in the overtime. Incredible action we've seen all season long here in the RMLL Junior B Tier 1 League. Inside, no trouble for Isabay. Of course, the East Division, Winnipeg, the Manitoba Blizzard, Regina, the Queen City Kings. I love that name. To the extreme outside is Paul Lafreniere. He'll get run over. And the Saskatoon, the Saskatchewan SWAT, who play in Saskatoon. Contact to the neck. Referee says play on. And a stick save for McDonough. If this score holds, the Blizz will improve to 2-1. And if the math works out, could be playing for first place at 5 o'clock. The Rebels can get the win over the Shamrocks. Then it's a must win for the Blizz because they would drop to 2-2 with a loss. But the Shamrocks can make things extremely interesting. If they can get the win over the Rebels, it looks like we have some wet surface on the floor, so they're going to bring out a towel and take care of that. Blizzard lost to the Rebels earlier on in this tournament. Mavericks would love to sweep. Fort Saskatchewan would like to get 2 wins. And again, if the math works out, they could finish 3-1. But if they have their victory over the Rebels, or the Rebels have their victory over the Blizzard from earlier on, if they get this win over the Shamrocks, that might just finish it off. But again, the math will work itself out for the rest of the evening. Nobody has clinched anything yet, although unless something happens in the next 3 minutes, the Silvertips will be the first team that we can confirm will not finish in the top 2. A 3-way tie for first is a scenario. A 3-way tie for second is a scenario as well. That's very possible. And if the Silvertips could get a win over the Rebels in the evening session, the chaos would be even crazier. That one off the netting. McDonough ran to the bench, and now he's going to have to run back. Hoffer. Less than 3 minutes to go with the clock not running. There it goes. Again, Silvertips have nothing to lose here. They basically need 5 in a row, either now or in overtime, to keep their playoff hopes alive. Scoop shot. That's a slow bouncer, which is a great plan B for the Blizzard because it rolls all the way back, and it gives Isabay a chance to send it down. Leven cannot collect without it deflecting out of bounds, so that's a fresh 30 for the Blizzard. I'm extremely impressed with this team. They lost 2 of 3 to the Silvertips in Winnipeg back in May, but seem to have overcome that. And of course, the only loss for the 19-1 Shamrocks was against this Blizzard club in Calgary. They finished second in the East Division, but traveled to Regina and swept the Kings 2 out of 3 to be here this weekend. They travel a lot of miles. The net is empty for Airdrie. Big shot off the shoulder and a diving save. The clock quickly stops and then starts over again as Isabay making sure they hang on here. Avoiding all the defenders, Hoffer. Now he's getting some work on the offense. Hoffer being watched by Cole Twite. But yeah, the math will affect every single game. And every game will make a difference to decide who our top 2 are. Less than a minute to go. The Mavericks are 3-0, but have not clinched anything yet. And McDonough getting some wind sprints in because he's sprinting back from the bench to his net on the far right side of your picture. A holding penalty against Manitoba. As I said, we had a lot of penalties between the Mavericks and the Silvertips. They just had a war of a series last weekend to decide the Central Division. And Innisfail officials that I talked to said that it was really on them for taking too many penalties and not being able to take advantage of the power plays they had. Big save off the left shoulder. Wide rebound. That one misses wide right and into the visitor bench. So a long-standing rivalry between the two teams led to all the physicality and all the fun stuff after the whistle. That led to multiple majors and 4 or 5 different guys being in the bench at once. But the Mavericks were able to overcome and win that game by just a single goal. Couple of spin moves, pirouettes from Cam Fuster. He'll dump it in deep, and that is your ball game. Blizzard 11, Silvertips 7. The Blizzard improved to 2-1. They're still in the mix. Silvertips drop to 0-3. The hosts will play the 8 o'clock game and can play spoilers against Fort Saskatchewan. We'll see how the math turns out. Blizzard defeat the Silvertips. They have 1 game remaining. That's against the Mavericks. That could be for first place. Although first and second, again, we have to see how the math works itself out. Silvertips can definitely make an impact at 8 o'clock, one way or the other. But this Rebel Shamrocks game is extremely important for both teams. Shamrocks lose, that'll be their 3rd loss, and they would be out. But if the Shamrocks improve to 2-2 and the Rebels drop to 1-2, then things get much more interesting. We could have 2 teams at 3-1, 2 teams at 2-2. There's multiple combinations, but today this game made a significant difference. Stick around for the August Electronics Player of the Game Awards. Well-deserving players from both squads. Our next game is at noon.
And now, for the Jackson Porter Player of the Game, presented by August Electronics, from the Silvertips, number 17, Chase Dwight.
Chase Dwight, 17.
And from the Blizzard, number 8, Will Angus.
The captain does what captains do. Will Angus, number 8, is your player of the game for the Manitoba Blizzard. A family affair on both of these teams. Cole and Chase Dwight. Andy and Will Angus. And all of you and all of us. 7 down, 3 to go before we know our championship teams. We'll have game number 8 in a few minutes' time. Thank you so much for watching CROW LAX TV's presentation of the Larry Bishop Memorial Cup. So long, everyone.